that. All right. You can't buy me, hot dog man.
Wait, why did I copy the Minecraft game?
Let's re-roll it. Is there anything else I can get? We'll re-roll. Ooh, a legendary. Power attack cycle through repeat sequence of guaranteed lucky, cursed, critical, ruthless, and crushing hit. That's actually really good. Ooh, that's a really good. Oh yeah. Nope, I know what I want. I just need to make it so that you can't buy me, hot dog man. I'm always in mana burnout, and so I'll have more critical damage. This is a critical build, dude. All right, I'm actually good on evil. Gosh darn it. Oh, there's if it's cursed. Man, I am gonna lose this just like that. That would not have made a difference, like if I'm not dodging the things, Char. Get out of here, Griffin, with your super health and guardian enchantment. Gosh, they're chunky. Finally. Kept tasing me over and over. Celery. That, of course, take a curse, darn it. You keep hitting my chair, my friend. Oh, Turing is such a good run. Then I oof it. Which is usually what happens when I pause and come back. I embrace the oofs. Yeah, you ready to start reading? Okay. All right. Have you asked Logan? We keep asking me to ask him. All right, so Logos first or Brawl Project? All right, we're doing Old Testament. We've done the Chronicler, so we're in Ezra and Nehemiah.
The books of Ezra and Nehemiah. In most modern Bibles, these books are separate, but that division happened long after it was written. It was originally a unified work written by a single author. The story is set after the Babylonians destroyed Jerusalem and its temple and took many of the people into exile. And this book picks up about 50 years later and tells the return of some Israelites to Jerusalem, and then what happened when they rebuilt the city and their lives there. Specifically, the book focuses on three key leaders who led the rebuilding efforts. You have Zerubbabel, then Ezra, and then Nehemiah. And the book's design focuses on the efforts of each leader. Zerubbabel leads a large group of people back to Jerusalem to rebuild the temple. Then about 60 years later, Ezra arrives in Jerusalem to teach the Torah and rebuild the community. And then he's followed by Nehemiah, who leads the rebuilding of Jerusalem's walls. And these three stories are designed to be parallel. Each begins with the king of Persia, prompted by God to send the leader to Jerusalem, and he offers resources and support, and then each leader encounters opposition in their efforts, which they then overcome, but in a way that leads to a strange anticlimax in each of the three parts. Let's back up and see how it fits together. So the story begins with a decree from Cyrus, the king of Persia, and he's moved by God to allow the exiles to return to Jerusalem and rebuild the temple. And the author says this fulfills a promise made by the prophet Jeremiah, that the exiles would one day return to Jerusalem. Now, This fulfillment should trigger our hopes in the many other prophetic promises that exile was not the end of the story. We have hope for a future messianic king from the line of David. We have hope for a rebuilt temple where God's presence will dwell with his people. Hope for God's kingdom to come over all the nations and bring his blessing, just like he promised to Abraham. And so it's with all these hopes in mind that we read on into the story of Zerubbabel. His name means planted in Babylon. He represents the generation born in Babylonian captivity, and he leads a wave of Israelites returning to Jerusalem. After they settle there, they rebuild the altar for offering sacrifices and later the temple itself. The foundation laying ceremony and then the temple's final dedication, these are key moments. The past stories of the tabernacle and temple's dedication should be in our minds. This is when the fiery cloud of God's presence is supposed to descend. He's dwelling with his people, and it doesn't happen. And so while some people are happy about this new temple, the elders who had seen the previous temple of Solomon, they cry out in grief. It is nothing like their glorious past or their hopes for the future. And it's right here that we get the first story of opposition, and it's very odd. So the grandchildren of the Israelites who were not taken into exile, they had been living in Jerusalem all along, they come to offer help with the temple rebuilding. And Zerubbabel refuses. He says, "You have no part in our temple." And this, of course, generates a conflict which Zerubbabel overcomes, but it's very strange because the prophets had envisioned that the tribes of Israel would all come together, along with all of the nations, to participate in the worship of the God of Israel when the kingdom finally comes. So this is an anticlimactic moment, to say the least. In the next section, we zoom forward about 60 years and we're introduced to Ezra. He's a leader among the exiled Israelites in Babylon. And he's a Torah scholar and a teacher. And so he gets appointed by Artaxerxes, king of Persia, to lead another wave of people back to Jerusalem. And Ezra wants to bring about spiritual and social renewal among the people. Our hopes are high. And again, we come to another anticlimactic moment in the story. Ezra learns that many of the exiled Israelites that had come back, they had married non-exiles who had been living around Jerusalem. Some of them were non-Israelites, and almost certainly some of them were. Ezra then appeals to the commands of the Torah, that Israel was supposed to be holy and separate from the ancient Canaanites. And he then says that the people living around Jerusalem are like the Canaanites. They're going to corrupt the exiles. So Ezra offers a prayer of repentance, and it's very heartfelt. But then he rallies all the leaders and enacts this divorce decree that says all these marriages should be annulled, the women and children sent away. And then the decree is only partially carried out. We're given a list of some of the men who divorced their wives. The story is very strange for a number of reasons. First of all, God never commanded Ezra to do any of this. It was the leaders of Jerusalem who led Ezra to make the decree. Second, the contemporary prophet Malachi, he did say that the exiles should care about purity, but he also said that God was opposed to divorce. And so the mixed results of the decree, this all fits into this pattern of a strange concluding anticlimax. Which leads us to the next section about Nehemiah. He's an Israelite official serving in the Persian government, and when he hears about the ruined state of Jerusalem's walls, he prays and then gets permission from the Persian king Artaxerxes to go and rebuild the walls. The king even gives him an armed escort and all these resources. So after arriving in Jerusalem, he begins the building project, and he too faces opposition from the people who had already been living around Jerusalem. Once again, we face a tension in the story. The contemporary prophet Zechariah said that the new Jerusalem of God's kingdom would be a city without walls, that God's presence would surround it, and people from all nations would come and join the covenant people. But Nehemiah seems to operate with the opposite vision. He informs the people surrounding Jerusalem that they have no part in Jerusalem. And this, of course, provokes them to hostility. And so while Nehemiah carries out his vision for the city with integrity and courage, they have to build the city with armed guards to protect them, we keep wondering, could this whole conflict have been handled differently? And this all leads to the conclusion of the book in two movements, first positive and then negative. Ezra and Nehemiah combine forces to bring about a spiritual renewal among the people. They gather all the exiles together for a festival. They read and teach the Torah to all the people for 7 days. And then they celebrate the ancient Feast of Tabernacles to remember God's faithfulness from the Exodus and the wilderness journeys. Then they offer a confession of their sins. They vow themselves to renew the covenant, follow all the commands of the Torah. And they finish with a great celebration over the temple, the walls of Jerusalem. And we're thinking this could be the turning point, but it's not. The book ends on a huge downer. Nehemiah tours around the city, and he finds that the people have not been fulfilling their covenant vows. So Zerubbabel's work is undone as he finds the temple being neglected and staffed by all these unqualified people. He then discovers that Ezra's work is being compromised. He finds everyone violating the Torah, people are working on the Sabbath, and even his own work on the walls is involved because people are setting up markets around the walls of Jerusalem and working on the Sabbath. So Nehemiah, he goes on a rampage. He's beating people up, he's pulling out their hair, and he's yelling, "Obey the commands of the Torah." And his final words are a prayer that God would remember him, that at least he tried, and the book ends. I mean, it's very strange, but we've been prepared for it, right? These anticlimactic moments have been woven into the book's design intentionally. And so it raises the question, what on earth does this book contribute to the storyline of the Bible? Well, remember, the book started by raising our hopes in the prophetic promises about the Messiah, the temple, the kingdom of God, and then none of it happens. So even though Israel is now back in the land, their spiritual state seems unchanged from before the exile. And while Ezra and Nehemiah, they do their best, but their political and social reforms among the people don't address the core issues of their heart. So what the book is pointing out is the same need highlighted by the prophets Jeremiah and Ezekiel. What God's people need is a holistic transformation of their hearts if they're ever going to love and obey their God. And so the book ends on a downer, yes, but it forces you to keep reading on into the wisdom and prophetic books to find out what is God going to do to fulfill his great covenant promises. But for now, that's the book of Ezra and Nehemiah.
All right, takeaways from Ezra and Nehemiah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, well. So there's always a sense of hope. But then there's always they get about 70% there, but they don't go the full length. Because Jerusalem is supposed to be a city, which all the prophets at this time were talking about, a place open to all. But multiple times they put the strong hand out, like, no, you can't have no part of this. This is for pure ethnic Israelites, pure bloods only.
Yeah, I know.
No muggles around.
But they are, but he's like,
Yeah, and it's like they're around. He's like, no, you have no part. And so forces people to get divorced. And there's no sign that these wives are telling them to serve other gods. There's no we look at the Moabite, Ruth, where she makes a commitment to Yahweh. She makes a covenant commitment. And so it's just this disorder and chaos. And it's like using scripture to, it's partly hope, but then partly also traumatizing the people around them. All right. Let's read. Okay, we're in 2 Samuel. We are actually almost done. King Jesus, you're holy, wonderful, amazing. I thank you for this day thank you for the community that you have wrought. A community that is trying to uplift, build each other up, not backbiting, not demoralizing, but it's always the building. It's done by your hand, your work. So may we declare allegiance to you, be part of the renewal project that you have inaugurated on your death and resurrection. Thank you, King Jesus, that death has no hold on us. So we could always live not with a little bit, not with everything, but we're always giving. We're always depleting like you depleted. And then we gain everything when we die daily like you have died. When we lay it all down at your feet. So may we take our resources, take our pride, our desires for where we want to go and lay it down at your feet. So in that we just ask you to give us wisdom, reveal what the writings of the ancients meant to the people is first written to and what it means now. Post your death and resurrection. Amen. I would rather fall into God's hands than into human hands. Yahweh's anger flared up against Israel again, and he incited David against them, saying, "Go and count Israel and Judah." So the king said to Joab, the army commander with him, "Go around all the Israelite clans from Dan to Beersheba and appraise the company, so I may know the company's numbers." Joab said to the king, "May Yahweh your God indeed add to your company 100 times over compared with what they are now, while the eyes of my lord the king watch. But why does my lord the king desire this?" But the king's word was firm towards Joab and over the army officers. So Joab and the army officers left the king's presence to appraise the company Israel. They crossed the Jordan and camped in Ur, to the right of the city, which is the middle of the Gad Wash, and went on to Jazer. They came to Gilead and to the country of Tim-Chodeshi, and came to Dan-Jan and around to Sidon. They came to the fortress of Tyre and all the cities of the Hivites and the Canaanites, and went out to the Negev of Judah, Beersheba. They went about the whole country, and at the end of 9 months and 20 days came to Jerusalem. Joab gave the king the numbers from the company's appraisal. Israel came to 800,000 soldiers drawing the sword, and the men of Judah came to 500,000. David's conscience attacked him after he had counted the company. David said to Yahweh, "I have acted very wrongly in what I have done. But now, Yahweh, will you remove your servant's waywardness, because I have been very stupid?" When David got up in the morning, Yahweh's word came to the prophet Gad, David's seer. "Go and speak to David. Yahweh has said this: I am holding out 3 things over you. Choose one of them for yourselves, and I will do it to you." So Gad came to David and told him. He said to him, "Is a 7-year famine to come to you in the country? Or are you to have a 3-month flight before your foes as they pursue you? Or is there to be 3-day epidemic in your country? Now recognize and see what reply I shall give to the one who sent me." David said to Gad, "I am vulnerable. Do let us fall into the hands of Yahweh, because his compassion is great. I will not fall into human hands." So Yahweh sent an epidemic on Israel from morning until the set time, and there died of the company, from Dan to Beersheba, 70,000 men. The aid stretched out his hand over Jerusalem to destroy it, but Yahweh relented the calamity and said to the aid who was destroying the company, "That's plenty. Now lower your hand." So here he got prideful, right? Like he's like, "I want to see how big a numbers I have." And so instead of seeking out Yahweh, and this is like the time again where David is just being a royal goof. And so, but now there is this time, and usually when Yahweh is close to you and he partners with you, there is, like, especially you're a leader, there is big discipline that has to happen. And here we're seeing, which is strange, that other people will get hurt for David's decisions. But I guess that's him for being the banner that represents the people. By a nice coincidence, it's Census Month in the United States. Many an advertisement is urging us to make sure we fill in forms. Even the announcements in church repeat the exhortation, and the government hires hundreds of people to go around to the homes of the 1/3 of the population who don't return their forms. We can't move forward until you give your answers back, says the census motto. The census will decide how many seats a state has in the House of Representatives. It'll provide a basis for deciding on expenditures, on services and infrastructures. People who oppose the census do so on the basis of its being an invasion of privacy and a suspicious poking of the government into our lives. David's census and God's disapproval of it have a different background. In itself, there was nothing wrong with the census. God commissioned one after the Israelites left Egypt, and another when they were about to enter the Promised Land. In part, this related to needs similar to ones underlying a modern census. The land was to be distributed in an appropriate way among the Israelite clans, and their respective numbers were significant in this connection. That was the reason for omitting the Levites from the census, as they were not to receive an allocation of land. David's census has a different concern. When he bids Job undertake the census, some translations have him counting the people as a whole, but there have been many stories in 1st and 2nd Samuel where the Hebrew word for people has denoted the army. I have used the word company because that is also both an everyday word and a military term. Here the census is undertaken by the military, and the account of its results referred to a number of men drawing the sword in Ephraim and Judah. David is indeed checking on the size of his military. Therein lies at least part of the problem. The implication is that the size of the military is of key importance to the survival and flourishing of the nation. So what does usually military size mean? So the size of an army, like actually we know the size of the United States Army. We know our budget. It presents a strong front that to other nations that we are flourishing, do not mess with us. Yeah, and so like what he's doing is like all the governments do is they see how big their numbers are. So you could say that David is only being a responsible leader and discovering what forces are available to him. But stories such as Gideon, Judges 7 reminded Israel that when God is involved, the size of the army isn't the crucial factor. So it's like one thing, like United States is not Israel. But with Israel, especially with saying that Yahweh led them, it was always about serving and going off Yahweh's pointers, not the size of your army. Or even a significant factor in the working out of God's purpose. David has forgotten consideration of key importance to the leader of the people of God. The carrying out of David's decision reveals another aspect of the problem. The army officers go around the whole country with the account describing the boundaries of the area they take into consideration. It starts with the Israelite territory across the Jordan, which is fair enough, and then works north and west. But before working its way south to the Negev, it finds itself in Phoenicia, in the area of modern Lebanon, an area occupied by Hivites and Canaanites. Politically, they are part of the little empire that David controls, but isn't there something questionable about their accounting as in some sense part of Israel and part of Israel's military forces? Paradoxically, even Job and the other army officers recognize that David's census is a questionable idea. Though they do not say why they are uneasy, perhaps they share the unease about counting that is felt in other traditional societies. Counting is unlucky, and people or animals that are counted may die, partly because it can be expression of or an encouragement to pride. So in some societies, which we don't know why his officers felt hesitant about counting the people, but in some societies, counting is considered unlucky. It shows, it could show even pride.
Don't do it.
The story begins by giving us another astonishing explanation why David undertook the census. Whereas in due course, it seems that God is angry with David for taking the census. The story begins by telling us that God was angry with David before the census. The very idea of the census came from God as an expression of God's anger. Why God was angry, the story doesn't tell us. Maybe it was irrelevant to the story, since it's what follows that counts. Maybe the narrator simply didn't know why God was angry. Maybe the only possible explanation for David's undertaking this crazy action was that God was angry with him. Speaking of God's inciting David to do it doesn't imply God somehow forced him. The language parallels talk of God's hardening people's hearts, or stiffening their resolve. The experience parallels occasions when someone suggests an idea to us and we accept it freely, but with hindsight recognize it was a bad idea. The story knows that there is some sense in which God is behind all that happens, especially all that involves a servant of God like David, whose actions are so important to the people. The aftermath of David's action reminds us of the story of David, Bathsheba, and Uriah. One solemn side to this fact is the way it confirms our impression that nothing much goes right for David after that series of events. Once again, David does the wrong thing. Once again, he realizes it's too late. Once again, David sends one of David's own prophets to him, though this time not to bring David to a realization of his wrongdoing. It seems that David somehow gets there on his own, but in connection with determining what happens next. Once again, David says, I have acted wrongly, though here he underlines the omission more than he does in the story of Bathsheba and Uriah. Once again, the story raises the question of removing David's wrongdoing, and once again, his action has terrible implications for other people who pay the price for his wrongdoing, as people often do when we do wrong, especially when leaders do wrong. David's perceptiveness and his response to people astonishes us. The man is a bill-reading combination of stupidity and insight. It's better to fall into Yahweh's hands than into human hands, he says, because we know Yahweh is compassionate. The judgment that follows proves this point. Admittedly, the people pay a terrible price. The account recalls the story of the Exodus, where God's destroyer wreaks judgment on the people of Egypt. Everything has thus been turned upside down here of the destroying angel is wreaking judgment on Israel itself. So it also shows like how Israel is becoming, the leaders, the kings are becoming more and more like Pharaoh. Because as Pharaoh's decisions led to the destroyer destroying in Egypt, destroying firstborns. So now David now is being the king, and his Pharaoh inclinations is also causing damage for his people. As God can have Israel destroyed in the way God had the Canaanites destroyed, so God can treat Israel as God treated Egypt. Israel cannot trust in its position of privilege. Yet at the last moment, God cannot bring himself to let Jerusalem itself be destroyed. For people reading the story later, it is a poignant statement. Much later, God will summon up determination and hard-heartedness to have Jerusalem destroyed. In the meantime, the story encourages people to remember that Yahweh is the compassionate God. Even when we have done wrong, it is always worth urging God to relent of opposing the punishment we deserve. We perhaps see the truth of this in our lives as nations, which continue despite what we deserve. All right, friend, we can start. And I'll be right back, peeps. diamond. Let me find out.
Well, I guess there's been
Was
kind
there
of. One was kind of.
was there other ones besides the ones in our community? I do have the microphone hot, but I'm not saying names.
I wasn't good. I don't think I did.
I'm gonna laugh. She's like so innocent. She's like, I thought we were just having coffee. This is a date? Okay. No questions. Hey, love. How was your meeting? Oh yeah? You never had a buffet? Yeah. Depending where you go. You generally find something you like. There's something. Let's get some claws. Get some claws if you're going to do that. The live action?
Yeah.
How are the reviews? You want to see it?
I don't know.
Maybe you can watch an episode.
I don't want to see it.
Well, maybe after. Maybe. Oh yeah. The movie. Oh man. It was like 12 years ago. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, dude. She was a super young when I left, so it's cool that she like clings to King Jesus. And what's up, Jodo? That's cool.
Help. Oh my god. Hey, put headset on. I'm being super distracted right now. Alright. Oh, can you give me tips? Oh. I'm like the wrong person to ask. Cause I'm I talk about King Jesus, and I play games that I find enjoyment in, that I'm trying to beat. Usually, consistency in playing whatever the new hottest viral game helps a lot. So yeah, I'm the wrong person to ask, my friend. I can walk outside him. That's hilarious. Okay, well, okay.
Well, thanks, Jodo.
Oh my god.
For me, declaring people to King Jesus and is always first and foremost. And I don't want to chase things just to get I don't want to chase viewership. Because for me, that I will not be able to keep on doing this. If I disable it so I don't see numbers. I don't know how many people watch. Because
chasing numbers, like there's a really good podcast called The Rise and Fall of Mars Hill, and they have found, and that's like, but they have found studies after studies that when people do things for like reactions, like especially online reactions, your personality like actually like changes, which is crazy. Like you start, and so yeah, I want to be as authentic as a person I can be. Yeah, and so I try to be very intentional in everything I do. So like in about an hour, I'm going to be reading a really good Bible and commentary online, which you're welcome. We'll have some deep discussion. Every Friday, a group of us plays a game together. We're actually playing through Diablo 2. Oh yeah, you get tons of views. Oh, people will be all over that like hotcakes. And that's like clickbait. I personally have a hard time with clickbait. Some of my things, like my Broheim, makes the names of the title, is actually can be very cringy clickbait. Unblock. Ah. Ooh, we at least got 10. Oh, darn it. I'm actually, like, I hate this, but I'm gonna give up. Because I made a mistake with the blacksmith. It was a good run. I kept telling myself go do it, and I know if I don't stop and make this change now, I'm going to keep on finding myself in a run and going, why didn't I do that? All right, blacksmith. Where are you, blacksmith?
What is that?
Blacksmith.
I told you to attack. Where did I attack? Where did I attack? Oh.
That's run, Charlie.
Here. Right here.
Oh, there it is. That's this line. Okay.
Invisible.
Visible. Go.
At the last screen.
There you go.
And we never care about floor 1 shop. But I need that, so... This. There we go. Let's do this again. Give me bombs, please. I don't even know what that is. Hey, Logan. You know who? I'm guessing. I don't want to say it out loud just in case if this person is trying to like say something. Is that like a streamer? You have any idea? So that's like a streamer. Does YouTube videos, I see. There you go. That's uh-huh. I see. I see. There you go. That's my opinion. I don't know. I'm asking a friend who regularly watches. So yeah, I guess what's your opinion? Oh. Ouch. You know, you could try. I also am on Twitch. Maybe other platforms have better encoding. Dude, lucky hit chance. Sound like you're on dial-up, dude. Oh man. Alright, put my headset back on so that I can focus. My ADHD brain, it could be like one sound through a corner and it just want to pick it up. Ah! I thought he was dead, so they shouldn't get me. Why? I'll be really surprised if there's a streamer named Me Beans. Man, that is actually a decent streamer name. Beans. Catchy. I assume the aspect of the lentils. I am more edamame beans instead of soybeans. Do not talk to me, oh lentil bean. You're not Pinto. Ah! What's up, little lucky Jacob? How are you, friend? This. I would really like a better weapon. I'm extremely grateful. Oh! That's myself up there. My better melee weapon. What's up, Savannah? What's on? How you doing, my friend? I'm doing okay. I actually have a lot of like back pain going on right now. It's recently in a car accident. Other than that, doing well. Got my friends around me. We're reading some really awesome books together. Having fun with Tiny Heroes, which I've already beaten it, but I have never played a game where like I've actually wanted to complete it. So, how about you? How are you doing? What are you up to? Oh. I am reading chat. You can hear me, right? Is the game too loud? Was the game too loud? If so, my apologies. Should have fixed that. But I've responded. I have said many words. Okay. Must be quite the delay. It's going. It's rough. It's rough until it's good. Especially when you do stuff like this where they throw so much at me. How about you? Have you played Tiny Rogues? Oh, there you go. Not going. I be dead. Bum 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 bum. Oh. Mm. That's really nice. I'm doing a critical build. Get multiple guarantee crits. Let's see if it gets any more. Look at that.
I'll just slowly. I'll just be happy.
Physical resistance, that's what's happening. See, like this stuff, this random stuff right here. Physical resistance just makes it a lot more stabbing until I get crits. If I didn't have a crit build, this game would be very rough. Fire damage is nice. I'll do periodical fights, so I'll reroll. Does it increase my crits? Oof. That is a very rough roll. Okay, see, bombs please. I don't take it so hard. Why not? Even closer. Really gotta put a shiv in this one. Woohoo! Man. What? I swear I dodged that. Okay, game. Whew. Okay. Like a better weapon, please. Shielding. All right. Going for the long run, aren't we, game? Oh. Oh, still, is it still the first phase? Must be easy, not attacking twice. Man, I thought I was in the second phase. All right. Oh, that shielding. I might go resin build since they given me a resin.
Oh, no, 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 no.
That's nice. Take that. I'll take this.
What's the time?
Boy, come on.
Oh, gosh darn it, I ran right into like a chump.
Oh god.
Really? Come on, game. Huh.
Easy.
Oh yeah.
You're like, are you serious?
The worst, so before you can use the internet to Google, the worst is when you're in an RPG and there's just a simple wall that you have to press A next to and you just never figure it out. What's up? The Crab Pope. Oh. The Crab Pope is with us. This is... All hail, the Crab Pope. Here, I'll have this off so I can talk to you guys too. Anything? No. Yeah, we'll just do that. So we can make resin permanent. Okay.
Oh my gosh, Charlie.
Crab, people, crab, people. Ooh, that was scary. Oh, so many effects. I hate Cupid so much. There's Cupid. Oh, darn it. And a revive. Good thing I had that revive. Hmm.
I'm lost.
Yeah, I think. Yeah, I'll become range. Actually, let's do that. So I'm
Oh,
not
you got me
locked.
down,
Oh man. Oh, so many effects. Let's hurry my brain. All right. Put this on. So. All right, Broheim. In about 10 minutes, you have to go through step. Okay, Char? Got some bombs. Thank you. I do this. Hmm. Thing. Oh. Silly goose. Don't have any money, so no reason. Ah. Silly goose all around here. There we go. Come on. Oh. Did not mean to do that, but okay. Let's do that since we're about to fight the boss. Some shoes. Oh, gosh darn it. Wrong button. What's up, Game Legend? How you doing today, my friend? Don't do any, actually. I go this. Why won't you? Oh. Oh, you're lagging? I'm sorry, friend. And I got hit, so I didn't get my strength. Alright, your modified movement speed also applies. Getting a 20% chance to trigger. Alright. If I... Okay. It looks like I am going range. The interwebs are just like, nope. Okay. Why not? Get some monkeys. My bombs. Refill this one. Oh gosh. Ah! I don't like it. If I can take out some of the other. Oh. Oh. Man, they made me really work. Helping. Does it inflict bleeding? No.
Peanut butter.
I'm at the part where I gotta really start maxing. Okay, what do we have here? No bows, but that incinerator is beautiful. Alright, let's... Oh. Do it. It's a fun weapon. Oh, those dead zones. He had physical and fire resistance. Gosh. Like the game is trying to kill me. None of my stuff triggers anything. Had to get that and hoping I can trigger. I could do this. I'll pick this up, hoping I get something that can trigger.
The heck?
Oh, nice. Oh, see you, Game Legend. I am so sorry I missed you, my friend. And it's not lag anymore. Oh, okay. I seem like things. I got so in the zone since I was. Everything will be laggy. But yeah, if you're. Yeah. Here, if you guys are still here. Oh, that's cool. Is Opera GX actually making things run better for you? Ooh. All right, you had just that bet's been replaced. Oh. Does it even change how things look on Twitch? All right. I always love a gun that I can shoot in the down direction and is led through his thing. Okay. Oh, darn it. I don't have keys anymore. We're to get used to that. All right, I think this run's done. Like that. Don't know it's like that where I have to. Yeah. Not good. Why would you give that to me? Okay, you're definitely worth the most money. Oof. We get a bunch of strength. That there, unless... Put that right there. So I'm like right at the line. Watch, I picked the wrong path. That'd be fun. Okay. All right, full heads up. I'm like one floor away from being the game, and then go through step. More power. There's the oh gosh, I hate this guy. Money's worth, make my bill. Nope. Nope. Oh man. Oh man. Maybe I should have saved that. Ooh. Almost there. See if I get another one. That's fine. That's pretty cheap. Still in early access. Not more than 10. Oh, and oh. There we go. All right, guys. My guy's going to ascend to the throne and then step. Drink the god juice. The embodiment of evil. All right, is it still lagging, my friends? Do I need to... I should probably restart it for good measure. All right, Char, we're out of time, my friend. All right, guys. I want to. No, my lag is gone now. Okay. Well, I'm gonna switch things for Elden Rings. I'm gonna switch things over for Elden Ring, so I'm gonna stop the stream for a hot second, take a quick break, and I'll be back.